Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope y'all are doing great. I know it's been a long time since we did a Christmas project on the 25th. I am going to try and get that done again. So this came from the Dollar Tree. Maybe last year. It says 2023. It could have been last year, year before. Maybe it was the first year that they introduced, not the first, but one of the first years they introduced this. So this is a little scene, a wooden scene, and I've seen people in the past do a lot of cool things with this. I only got it for the snowman, but we're not doing Do You Want to Build a Snowman today? We are doing the Christmas theme. So they already gave us an idea how to get our trees going. So the pieces on here, these little notches, show us how to place the things depending on how you want to place it. So I'll show you this first. That's one. And then you see this one says two. It has two right here. Merry Christmas. I don't like that Xmas portion, but yep, it says Merry Christmas. So we're going to put the snowman here. You put in the snowman where the little slits go. You don't have an option to do it any other way. Okay? You probably could force it. And then this is like that. Then this is how it looks. So we're going to take the Christmas piece off. And what I thought we could do is use our acrylic markers. Now, hear me out. Painting this will probably be faster. Not going to even try to sugarcoat that. But I have these acrylic markers that says they are used for stone, metallic, wood, paper, fabric, glass, ceramic. And this is the best crafts. So, I mean, can't go wrong with that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out some colors for it. Have you ever noticed that a lot of drawn snowmen have clothes on? They never really have on just snow. They have everything on, like they are fully dressed for the winter. When in actuality, snowmen will melt covered up and all that stuff, right? But that's okay. So we're gonna get us a little um, thing going, and of course he's gonna have on a blue scarf and mittens because, as you don't, if you don't know, I've told you, I try to incorporate blue in everything. Now this is slightly bent, so we have to be careful with that. But we're gonna put this to the side because that has a lot of work to do. So what we're gonna do is just take. Um, he actually has on a coat. Isn't that weird? If you have fine liners, because acrylic markers cover the lines up on paper, and they probably do it on wood too if you're not careful. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give him two shades of blue. And this looks great. And by looking great, I don't mean that I'm doing a good job. I just think that the markers are doing a good job. I got these for under $10 earlier in the year. I don't know. how much they are now. I haven't really been keeping up with the tariffs and all of that stuff. I haven't purchased anything online from like AliExpress or Temu or anything like that in a long, long time. Since the last time I purchased from it, which was early in the year before the tariff situation. So I haven't acted. I went online and looked up something a couple of days ago, and I didn't care for the price that I saw. So I was like, you know what? We don't need it. I felt like I didn't need it at the time, um, and I'm definitely okay with that. Right here, I'm going to try and put a little red band. The good thing about these markers is they dry really quickly. You don't have to worry about paint being everywhere. I went out the line. They do have a brush tip as well, which is great for those people that are really good artists and they could pull that off. I am not that person. I'm okay with filling in blanks, coloring and stuff, but I am not, like the greatest. I'm not into like wood burning. That would be another project that I would spend a lot of money on and probably just do two things with. I watched this video about TikTok and how TikTok, it's called Color Talk and Book Talk. So I'm assuming every sub genre of TikTok has something. So like if you were into coffee, it would be Coffee Talk. If you were into paint, it'd be Paint Talk. If you were into automobiles, it'd be Auto Talk, I guess, Talk for TikTok. And it's a few people that, more than a few, it's a lot of people that do reaction videos, but they were talking about how the coloring frenzy of TikTok has made it where it's ruining coloring for people for hobbies, and they were particularly talking about coloring and books. So in the video that the person that I watched was talking about, one young person had purchased over 50 books, way more. I'm just shrinking it. They had purchased a bunch of books. When I say a bunch of books, too many to read in a year. Like the only way you could read a bunch of books in a year is if, this is what I'm saying. I don't know if this is true. This is how I feel. Is audiobooks. And you listen to the audiobook nonstop, right? Like every time you get some free time, you're auto booking it. But they were actually showing their book hauls, and I think the bottom line is we as a society in the states and not in the states, developed countries, I would say more so than third world countries, because no one's like, oh, I need to go and get the book from Target. Developed countries, we have an advantage over developing countries, right? And so the person was showing how they had purchased all these books and they need to figure out how they're going to get all these books read. Now, first of all, I have purchased multiple books before from like um half price books. I've been to book barn sales I would never, and I'm telling you this right now, you'll never see me, ever see me doing a haul video of 20 to 30 paperback, hardback books that have thousands of pages in there. Unless I am doing some type of community service where they deemed me the book purchaser and I went out and purchased a bunch of books for this event we were having. Like we were doing a massive book sale. We had to get X amount of books because the author was coming to sign books or something like that, and we were giving it away for free. I'm not that person. I had a bunch of books because I was like, ooh, I want to have all these books because this was a while back. I want to read all of these books. But then reality set in, and I was like, you're never going to read all these books. For one, I stopped enjoying reading once my son came along. Um, I enjoy reading books with him, the little kid books, but I don't like to sit down and read anymore. So I've recently purchased like four books, all from the thrift store, and I got one from the Dollar Tree. So all the books I purchased, the 4 or 5 books that I purchased were like $6 total. And I was like, I'm gonna start back reading because I loved reading when I was younger. Loved reading. But now since it's so forced in my household for my son for school, I think that is what has taken me away from wanting to read books. I much rather listen to a book read. I enjoy listening to audiobooks. But it's something about reading a book on your own that creates that imagination that has been cultivated in me for so long. When I was younger, I would read a book a couple of days, devour the book, eat it up. Like back in the day, if you was to say you like, what do you want to do, read or do this? I'd be like, give me a book, because I used to devour books when I was younger. In high school, I would read like a book every 2 days, every 2 to 3 days. But I was also reading the book, taking notes from the book on words I didn't understand. I was giving myself homework. Don't judge me. Homework assignments from the book. Like I was writing book reports that my teacher never told me I needed to write, etc., etc., etc. And out of that, I learned uh, many things. I never got book fatigue. In my mind, book fatigue is overreading and losing the joy of reading. And I think that's where I've got now because my son likes to read, but I've have since summer is here. I'm like, read a book, read a book, read a book, and I feel like while that's not a fair thing to do to a little person who all they can think about is wanting to play a video game, wanting to play a video game, wanting to play a video game. Um, I'm hoping that something in him will spark, and one day he'll just be reading a book without me having to say, read a book, read a book, read a book. But as it stands right now, it's not doing it. So you can see that this acrylic did not devour this line because it is etched in, which is great. I love that. And I enjoy being able to use my white color pencils or markers or whatever on projects because sometimes things do call for the color white and you can't use it because it's on a white sheet of paper. And I have yet to master making things look like I've colored it with a white marker or whatever, color pencil. Um, but we're going to get there. So yeah, I personally feel like when I was watching the video, I was just like, that is, I don't know how true that is because I don't have TikTok. I didn't download the app. So I don't know all of the things. I've seen video clips from certain parts of TikTok where people are, sharing their whatever, and I'm like, okay. But she was really like saying how we do trends, and when we do these trends, this is what happens. We'll like a trend and then we'll stop. We'll love a trend and then we'll stop. And the bad part is that has never, that's nothing new. You know, social media just highlights that. But I remember when I was a young girl, leggings were a thing back in the day. Leggings. If you don't know what leggings are, they are these faux socks that go over your socks and pants. They're like the workout material from back in the day, right? Like that's what they really are. I'm gonna get this bird a brown, no, a little black dot for his eye. Then we'll go on to this candy cane. Um, that's what a fashion bell bottoms and everything repeats. Everything is cyclic, right? We have never had a new trend that hasn't come around. Yes, it may be refurbished, it may be revamped, but all of the things that we're seeing now, nothing is new. Nothing is new. You know what? Let's go traditional candy cane. Um, I remember when I was in middle school. I think it was middle school. No, it was high school. Ninth or 10th grade. They had these big, giant, flowy pants. And if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, I would definitely be a free spirit floating around in a van teaching some type of love yourself type of mentality. Uh, because when I was younger, I was like, I am going to just travel the world. I had a few goals. I used to want to be the president. I did. Uh, I also wanted to be a veterinarian. I also wanted to be a nomad. I'm still eyeing that position of nomad. Right now, this mom thing has me committed for a few more years, but after that, I feel like I want to roam the earth like Cain. But anyway, um, yeah. So I always wanted to be not a hippie, but hippie-ish, if that makes sense. Um, kind of just go where the wind blew. But I'm not that person. Like I'm very, uh, 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 I'm not as linear as I used to be, but I'm definitely a linear thinker. And I was thinking about that yesterday when I was talking to someone about my son, and I'm like, this, he's very cut and dry. Like if you tell him, if you have a cut on your arm and you say I was slaying a dragon, he would believe you. And I always have to tell people, do not play with him like that because he thinks that's true. Then he'll go and tell other people, and then I'm sitting in the counselor office with the principal or something, trying to explain why I'm telling him that dragons don't exist, but some random stranger has told him that they were floating in the sky with the dragon slaying them. I'm like, that's just not cool. But anyway, yeah. So um, the video I watched, right, about the trending topics and things like that. Nothing is new from what I've noticed. We may just do it bigger, better, grander than the previous generation. Or we maybe do it less cool, right? The one thing that I have noticed that people are doing, and we're talking about consumerism, over consumerism, is spending crap tons of money on craft supplies. And when she talked about that, I felt that in my core. Okay, we'll get us some glitter. So this little bow piece, we're gonna color that up. I felt that in my core because I was like, you know what? Here I am looking for these daggone hoo-hoo markers, but I am not. I don't feel like I'm on this TikTok trend. Let me tell you why. I am a crafter and I love coloring. If you notice, I mean, we have a whole series every Sunday. We're coloring for you to join in and have a good time and maybe bring some, a little bit of joy to you. Maybe. And if not, maybe it's just something about us coming on and hanging out for that however long we are sharing our crafts with you, that sparks something in you, even if you don't go out and color, and no one's telling you to grab a coloring book of a specific kind and do it with us. And she also talked about those kind of people that are like, hey, I have this coloring book. If you want to join in, you need this one. Not once have we told you you need this coloring book, but we share with you the coloring book that we use just in case you do want to be a part of us coloring with that specific coloring book. Because I'll tell you, when I was thinking about this with Deb, she had already started doing a lot of hauls with her coloring books, and she was already in the coloring thing. I'm not going to have her go out. I don't want anyone to go out and purchase new things to be a part of any type of thing that I'm doing. I want you to be able to use the stuff that you have on hand. I want you to be able to use the things that you have. But a lot of people, myself included, when you see someone using a fancy marker, for example, you may be intrigued and say, "Oh, where'd you get that from?" It's plenty of times I've seen people do collaborations with other people, and I'll go and look up the coloring book, for example, and I'm like, "Wow, that coloring book is expensive. I am not about to buy that coloring book." I'm looking for this marker. It says 47, 154, and 35. These are three greens. So I have 47, 154, and now I'm looking for number 35. And 35 looks blue to me, but we're about to see. Yep, it's teal. So, I took away from that and I shared it with one of my friends who is an artist. And, he has Ohuhu markers, and he was like, I don't even use mine that much. But he's an artist. Like, he draws. Like, that's his profession, right? Graphic design. So he does that kind of stuff. So whenever I find, and that could be getting on his nerves, but whenever I find things about the community that we both share, I always like to share with him what they are. So, we can have a conversation about it at some point because he's anti AI. And I'm not anti AI because it doesn't affect my profession like it affects his profession. I am not pro AI either. I don't particularly enjoy it, but this is what I always think about, and this is more so taken away from the arts of what AI does. And I'll give an example. The other day, my son and I were in Walmart. This was in May, I think, the end of May, the beginning. Maybe it was the first week of summer, but I think it was in May, and he was still in school. And he had said something about his foot hurting, and somehow my phone picked up what he said about his foot, and it just started telling us about foot pain. I never accessed her. I never once asked her to give me any type of information about foot pain, but she definitely gave us what we didn't know we were looking for, which was data about foot pain. And I was like, interesting. And so since then, I've been very careful on the wording that I've used, very careful on how I could not have her eavesdropping. But every now and then, she'll be like, if what I'm hearing is, and then I have a British accent. So it's a British lady that's talking to me about the foot pain or whatever. And I'm just like, that's very interesting. I do like this. This is no mess, no mess, y'all. These little markers, and I did buy them for wood coloring, rock coloring, and wood, mostly rock painting. But anyway, so when I sent him the video, and it boils down to consumerism over consumerism, because right now, before, the Ohuhu markets were $244 before the tariffs, and then it went up to three something, and now they're at 289. I was like, I cannot afford 289. I had told him because he had got his a couple of years ago, and I was like, I really want to get these markers for half off. So I was hoping that they would have a half off sale during the Christmas holidays, and they did not. They had no sale for them. I did get some uh, on sale, and then I had bought some from Amazon. They were the skin tone markers. I hate them. They're not alcohol based. They are water based, I think. And it feels like they pick up the paper. I probably should just send them back and say I don't like them, but it's way too late. So I'll just probably give them to my son. And I'm not trying to be that person that's like, oh, I can. A pack of markers is expensive. $8 is okay in my book because if I roll up to the fast food window and I'm like, give me this, this, and this, that's 20 to 30. That's $30. 26, $30 right there. If I do that, and this is how I look at it. If I'm buying junk to eat, I can definitely buy things to go to my hobby. But people are like, I have two sets of 320 or three sets or four sets of 320 markers. You know what? I will stick to my discount store markers. I was at Burlington yesterday because I was looking for something in particular, but I always go to the craft section because it's in my nature to go to the craft section. And they had a box of 48 markers, which I thought was a really good deal for $20. But I was like, you just bought some markers. You don't need any. Uh, I don't care. Like if they had been $10 for $48, I probably would have got them. But I didn't need them. And I feel like as my discount markers decrease in price, then not in price, decrease in that that I have, then I'll buy, you know, top of the line markers or a better quality marker. But as it stands right now, we not doing that. Okay. And by we I mean I'm not going out and I'm not about to invest in three sets of hoo markers. Why? I'm not a big enough influencer for them to send me free stuff, and they don't influence me enough to buy a bunch of stuff from them. I just don't see myself out here doing that because I think that's very crazy. Um, I do have to pay for my house and food on the table, insurance. When you think about all the bills that you have as an adult, a set of markers is not important. Not to me, at least. I'm gonna make Christmas lights on here, but this is snow. I didn't feel like coloring it all green, but I wanted it to have that tinge of green on it. I probably should have colored this tree brown too, but I didn't. Let's get the brown out. Um, but yeah, I thought it was a very interesting take on things. And then I was also talking to one of my friends about it. And the one thing that I don't really care for that people do, they will take your content and make content out of your content. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of you using my work to create work. And I get it. We do a lot of reaction videos. We do different things like that. But you need to do your own thing and then go from there versus not doing that. Now, I want to say this. I'm going to use this alcohol marker, but I'm going to say this. I don't really care to use alcohol markers on heavy, porous things because I feel like it sucks in a lot of the juice. So I find that to be not very good. Okay. So yeah, I found her video though to be very not entertaining, eye opening because I don't know if you all are colorists out here. I'm not sure. if you color. But it's a lot of books on the market, and I've been buying coloring books since I first found Johanna Brasford. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And her coloring books are so intricate and detailed, right? I bought one of her books before, and that book was not cheap. How many pages did I color out of it? Half a page. Why? Because it was so much intricacy. It was a lot of work in it. It was just so much going on in that coloring book that I was like, I don't think coloring is for me. But if you give me a Frosty the Snowman coloring book, I don't know if they have those right now, but and I can color, and then we stamp images out and we color those. I went back and gave it another chance, and I'm not gonna say that we are not into hauls, right? Some people all they do is haul stuff, and that's on you. That's great. I'm not knocking you. Do whatever you feel is best for you. Some people all they do is take your shopping experiences. I love all of those. I love the haul videos because I don't have to go out and do it. And by do it, I mean I don't have to go out and we're gonna use 300. 300 is gold. I don't have to go out. Is it gold? Yes, a bronzy gold. Um, in shops. So if people are doing Dollar Tree hauls, I can see what's out in the Dollar Tree if I want it. Now the problem is a lot of people that I watch that do Dollar Tree hauls, we have none of the same stuff in common. None of the same stuff in common. Like they'll do a Dollar Tree haul on cups, for example, as an example, and then they'll come back and they will craft stuff out of cups. I love that. I love how people can find things to create, and I love a good upcycler, right? But as I've been crafting and creating, some of my likes have changed, and I'm much more into like resin and things like that. So I have a few projects that I have done with resin, and it came out rubbish, horrible, very horrible. So much so that I was like, I don't think this is for me. Now, did I go out and invest a lot of money in the stuff? No, because I know how I am when it comes to those kind of things. So I don't. I'm not gonna spend $300 on a project and then I get to do the project and it's crap, you know. But I have went out and purchased $20 to $30 worth of stuff to see, because some of the stuff costs. Resin is not a cheap craft, you know. And I have plaster of Paris, which is inexpensive. In my opinion, it's inexpensive. You can buy a box of powder and put water in it and create a lot of stuff, which I love doing. I've done it. I've shared some of those images with you all before. My issue is the silicone molds for the resin. I'm like, okay, what do I like? What do I want? Oh, I like all of it. And I'm like, no, let's be realistic. I think that's what we always have to tell ourselves. We have to give ourselves a reality check, because sometimes we'll just buy stuff, right? And I had went to Hobby Lobby yesterday, so I went to Burlington, DD's, and Hobby Lobby. I want a pair of inexpensive sandals. I'll probably end up going to a shoe store though today. The day I'm making this video, or somewhere like that, to get some sandals, because it's the summertime and my feet, although they are not the prettiest, are like, listen, I love these shoes. They keep me safe. Let's expose the toes. Let's expose the toes. And I have a big foot, so I always struggle with finding cute shoes. Always. I used to go to like DSW and things like that when I was younger, and I had less responsibility. But now that I'm older, and I'm like, that's a waste of money. I don't do it that often because I don't wear fancy shoes anymore. I predominantly wear sneakers, one pair of sneakers, until those tear up, and then I'll buy another pair of sneakers. All right, so I was thinking, I don't know if I have more of these or not, but I love how this came out. This came out better than I could expect. I'll tell you that. Look at this. And I was thinking that maybe I will find another one. If I have another one, I don't think I do though. And we'll break all these things up and we'll place them. This gives me, just so you know, I'm not going to glue it down, but this gives me Grinch vibes or a Dr. Seuss coloring thing. So maybe we can try and make a Grinch and do a whole wood scene and glue it down like that. But we're going to put our thing up here for now. Oh, I was worried about this. I was like, did I color the right side? It's going to have to go in though, because we're not doing the back. And I want him to be here. See, they made sure you could only put them in the specific spots. I don't care for that too much though. And this piece only fits in a specific spot. That is so weird. And I didn't color the Christmas sign because I don't like that it says Xmas. We can all have our disagreements about stuff, but no, just no. I'm not Xing out of Christ. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed our Christmas creation for this month. I think this piece needs to be cut out, but I don't have a wood cutter. Anyway, let me know what you think about the conversation that we were just having in the comment section. We probably could put, I have some wood letters. Maybe we could put Mary on here with some block letters. So we'll see. But I don't want to glue this down because I think I want to reuse some of these pieces at a later date. We can even use this. I broke it. Oops. Anyway, thank you for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.